brings. Thank you for joining us for tonight's episode. Okay, this is I forget how to pronounce that, but anyway, Time Lord energies. I've tapped into it in the past in some form or another. Going to time traveler dimensions. We'll see where that goes. And this is right. The Mermaid Lagoon. We'll just put it there. So I'll go into that. So that's by Africa. I imagine a lot of people have been over in that direction, swimming on one of those remote islands. But yeah, every once in a while, mermaid energy will pop up. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue like that. So, I mean, it's always going to be a mystery here until the world shape shifts itself out of all this. Who knows what that's going to be? And the only way that's going to work for us to go into the higher dimensions is to get rid of paperwork. I'm not sure if at your jobs, at my job, sometimes they have that. It's like paperwork psychos. Of course, they have to do it, and there's always someone behind them, someone behind that to make you do all that useless paperwork that you should fill out. People can't read it anyway. Of course, the IRS is involved with that too. Of course, they get things wrong. It doesn't really matter. For the ascension to work is for the IRS to implode. And everybody else is involved with paperwork. I think there's like demonic beings that are involved with all this paperwork stuff that goes on in the world. Yeah, if you get rid of all the paperwork on the planet, the world will probably be a better place. We can all finally breathe in relief and even hug a tree if you actually feel like to do so. But until then, this world's not going anywhere. You can bring in ascension energies, but people are just ascended back. You think I'm joking too? It's funny, but it's not funny. Anyway, I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't know where that memory came from, or anyway, I don't talk about paperwork very often, but I'll bring it up. Useless information. So the Time Lord energies. You can say they're not the easiest to tap into. I believe that has a lot to do with the timeline wars that are happening here all the time. Time Lords are like Doctor Who. I never got into Doctor Who. I might start looking into it a little bit, but of course, Doctor Who is popular, and anything popular, and how that goes. It can be great and not great, or manipulative or not manipulative, whatever it might be. But the Time Lords are they're at the top of how this all happens. Yeah, I don't think you hear much about it, but it came to me without even looking for it. So it wants to be known. So it's just not that well known. It's similar also to the Men in Black, where they can appear and disappear. I also did a channeling a while back, a couple months ago, where it's like time traveler beings. Yeah, they're in other dimensions, but they can also switch out like a walk-in. They can come into a person, do whatever they want to do, and then leave. So yeah, stuff. It's hard to detect things like that. It's hard to detect anything. So it's like a confusion. It just adds to the confusion, basically. But Time Lords are at the higher level of all of this. I believe that's one of the reasons why the world is going through what it's going through too. It's different agendas. They come from 5th, 6th, 7th dimension, all these different dimensions. They're just whoever can get a hold of society and program. So you have all these programmed people, right, for the majority. So whoever can get into that time where they can control the masses, through media or through whatever, through politics. And it's just bizarre. It's like, think about like the majority of the human race is kind of like not all, but a good amount is kind of like a like what we're seeing already, the media pushes the button and people will just go with it, right? So if you can get in that power, into that level of power, you got yourself a planet to control. So it's just done in different dimensions. It's complicated. It's weird. I don't hear much about it, but I think a lot of people here that are incarnated right now have Time Lord incarnations in their past. They just don't remember. They remember some time traveling stuff they may here and there, but some are actually living it now. But many I haven't forgotten. So, in the timeline dimensions, we'll go into that a little bit. What that world is like in some form. So the Time Lord energy just happens to a Time Lord being and see what the hell they have to say. And the Time Lord dimensions is what does that feel like? What does need to be known? It's coming out for a reason. Going into the new year, so who knows what the agendas are? That's about it. So unless you want to talk about paperwork for the rest of the hour, I don't think anybody wants to do this. I haven't told that coming private sessions. The scheduler at the shop here. I'm on. I think I'm on the first now. Same situation here. Webinar setup, social network, and behind the scenes. And then it says Doctor Who. Yeah, I never got into Doctor Who at all. I don't know if all of these Doctor Who's are exactly positive. Who knows? I don't know. It doesn't mean you have to be positive, but you can be whatever you want to be. I think the show came out in the 60s, something like that. It's like extremely cheesy, but I believe also has other versions of Earth. So they are telling us stuff here and there. So anyway, and this is the island of where the mermaids. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. So out in the middle of nowhere. Because apparently there was a sighting out there. Also, Yemen, I felt giants. I don't normally see something like that. Not there. And it makes sense, Saudi Arabia, but definitely Yemen had giant beings, which I'm just taking a look at that. I don't remember seeing that. That's cool. It's probably rubble now. Okay. All right. All right. Time traveling energies, and we'll see what else they can bring in for healing frequencies, because this is going to be kind of heavy, it feels like, maybe a little bit. It's not for everybody, obviously. It's not something that's brought up, I think, ever, or hardly at all. Of course, they have the clone timelines. And they're connected to the clones, they're connected to human trafficking. Of course, you have a positive time, or whatever, positive, negative, whatever. You have yin and yang of time wars, time travelers, whatever you define positive or negative, doesn't matter. But experience A and experience B, whatever. So, all right. That's all I got. Okay, all right, blessings. Here we go. Right before I started, I feel a lot of Anunnaki connections with the Time Lord energies, which makes a lot of sense. Also, they can hide the past very well. Like the Sartarians and what else is in the past. So, all right, blessings. Greetings. We are Time Lord consciousness. It's not all get along with each other. There is a knowledge of your earth, beings that know everything about it, at least spiritually. How to enter it, how to leave, how to be unseen, how to be everything. How to be here as a human where you're not detected by other time traveling beings. Because you can say take over someone's being, someone's body, like a walk-in, something. We don't go into details of that, but so because there's a timeline, there's time travel or hunters, so it's all over your world. Usually, are people that are programmed into your third dimension are the easiest to access. They're already they're designed that way. They're designed to be programmed. And some of you are releasing those programs. It's not the easiest. Doesn't mean that you have a being coming into you and operating you through you, but many do. This is a timeline war. It's an alien war. It's this world's free reign. It is designed to be like this. It's up to the human to want to be able to be aware of this, to shut it down. But obviously, humans are designed not to believe in all of this through religion. Of course, you do have, yes, your mermaids, your Atlantis people. You can open up all these realms quite easily, but your society is designed not to. It easily turns it off. It's actually within the DNA of people. I believe some of you are aware of that. And the DNA is kind of like a microchip. It's a microprocessor, the DNA itself. And many of you do activate yourselves and deactivate. It's not necessarily like a microchip, but just the DNA itself operates like it. You can turn it on, turn it off. You can do whatever you want with it. Obviously, some of you like to do more with it. There's blockages there, and one of the reasons why some of you stay deactivated so you can implement a mission here to do what you need to do. Yes, you can always activate more, but yes, it's like you're undercover, you can say. Well, that says Time Lord frequencies. Obviously, we're not going into the full details of our reality, but it's deep. We were here before Earth was even invented or conception of it. Of course, others would say they created it. There are beings on other planets that literally say they are God of your Earth, even if they really aren't. So, some of the disclosure of Time Lords is other versions of Earth, which here has not been fully taken too seriously. It's a little bit heavy to accept because your world does connect to the timelines on other planets. And that's why you have that Mandela effect also. Because now you are connected to another version of Earth, and now you're going through their timeline. It's like, why do you have this certain presidency? Why did you have this certain disease on the planet worldwide, pandemic? It's from other realities that are plugged into yours. And there's extreme timeline wars. You see those that are trying to do the Holocaust timeline of the Terminator realities. Yes, they're trying to implement those realities. So it shows those beings are here to activate those timelines. They're trying to, but that's where the war is, to stop them. Of course, you're not going to see it in your reality. You might get some idea of it. Some of you are truly connected to those dimensions, but you can just feel it. You feel also reality is being pulled away from you. Those that are worse than what's going on right now. Other dystopian realities are a lot more heavier. There are beings here that want to turn this planet to like a Mad Max reality, and they are making it work in some places of your world, but they can't do it everywhere. So, and some of you possibly will feel like you're connected to other countries like Africa, because Africa is kept the way it's. A lot of the timelines are connected to Africa due to weather anomalies that's implemented on the world, such as hurricanes, and there's a lot of other things that Africa does. There's a lot of timelines are invented in Africa, but you will never know that here. It's just the ideas are put together. So, of course, you're not part of those conversations. Well, not physically, at least. Astrally, yes. Some of you are. So our frequency, yes, it's from all different dimensions, but a lot of it comes from the ninth dimension. So yes, our Time Lord beings that are just here to Yes, cause a disease, but there are other time lords who are here to bring in the cure. So it's like, yes, one being causes chaos, the other is to calm the chaos. And it's hard to keep up with something like that. When someone's always trying to bring trickster realities into your realm, it's hard to just let the world just calm down. There are times when they have to cool things down. But of course, they're always planning for something else. Obviously, we can't go into full detail of our reality, but we can just say we are around your realms. So we know how humans think. So we can find a doorway within one's mind to enter, to bring in a timeline, to shut one down, especially those of power. So we have the ability to put thoughts into people's minds. So that can create a timeline. It can be as simple as that. Of course, a thought is very powerful. Your world might not think much of it, but of course, you're taught not to think anything of it. So, and there is a lot of, as many of you know, it's not brainwashing. Well, obviously, you have some of that here, but it's amnesia. The amnesia wars are going on your planet too. You can't remember anything. And some of you actually do tap into our realm, but then you forget it, especially when you're in the astral, in your sleep state. So we're here for activation for you to remember us, what is possible for you to remember. Blessings. Greetings to you. We are the time traveler consciousness, dimensions, worlds, ideas. There are realms in astral where ideas are for your world and others are designed. Like you can see giant letters of like a word, a giant word, and it's the intention that's being brought onto your planet. You might see it as a cartoon in this reality, but in truth, it is programming your society. Sometimes the bigger the word, the more powerful the impact. It also sets the agenda and the theme of your reality. There's always an astral being trying to control your society. Always. It might not be affecting you, but it affects others. Eventually, it gets used in some form or another. But those are easily to give away their power. Those that give away their power so easily have been, designed that way. There's literally worlds that are actually designing a mentality like that. They spend their time delicately making sure that type of energy is connected to worlds they want to control. So at least you have some more understanding of how to come out of all this or what your place in it. Technically, all of you are part of the military in some form. We've heard about the secret space program. And this is another version of it. You might not be in battle, but technically you are. It's a psychic war. Yes. Nothing new there. But our timeline dimensions, our time traveler dimensions, yes, are everywhere. Some of you might, in your third eye, might see us walk through a dimension, reality. You might see somebody act differently. You feel like a time travel frequency was there. Usually they try to keep their tracks clear, but if you know what you're looking for, besides, you'd be surprised what you can find. Especially those that are remote viewers, it's not hard to pick us up, actually, because we're not used to people looking for us. So we can just roam around and do what we want. We can detect you detecting us. Sometimes we don't care, but some do care. So remote viewing, if you want to connect with us, to remote view us. And we say us because we're just going to leave it open. Some of us are reptilian beings, Palladian beings, insectoid beings, and Zeta beings, and so on. Beings that, of course, trickster beings. The tricksters are usually the strongest because they just give. It's like they give away their soul to have all the power, and they know their lifetime isn't going to be very long. You can say someone like a Bill Gates can. It's like they do all the darkness they can, and then they evaporate. They lose their trust, their ability. Like, who's going to trust somebody like that again? I mean, of course, then they have to go through karma to clear it, depending on who it is. But insectoid parasite beings are normally known to be the strongest because they don't care about anything. They're hard. They're hard to defeat. When you have a powerful insectoid being that just can do anything, attach itself to anyone that is easy to attach themselves, like such as a president. So they can attach themselves to a president and open up other realms of realities that can be manipulated within that president being. It's like a puppet. Yeah, it's quite complicated. It's like you see, what do you think attachments are? You know about the attachment, but do you know how it works and where it came from? Some of our AI attachments, some of our parasitic, insectoid, it goes on and on. It's complicated. It's not everyone needs to, like, you just clear it off like a bunch of spiders. You just clear out that vibration, move on. But some people will look into a parasite being and see where it came from, its origins. A lot of them do come from Orion, not all of them. More sophisticated ones come from Orion. Yeah, it's just a complicated reality. Well, some beings feel like they have they literally put their intentions of putting like a spider web around your planet. It's like, even if you're healing it and doing all these things, certain beings put a control grid around it. And if you have like billions of people here doing it, or some people doing it, then you have alien beings doing it also. It gets quite complicated then. So, blessings. Greetings. We are the mermaid consciousness. Greetings to you. We are, yes, a healing vibration. Some of us come from Lemuria, a lot of us come from Atlantis. Some of us Atlantean beings are more advanced than a lot of your Lemurian beings due to upgrades, sophistication in our energy, how to look into realities, how to test realms. It's just to build a society within the astral, here in the physical, but also in the astral. Mermaids have a way of shifting the vibrations, basically wherever you swim. So we bring many of our groups into certain places. We can open up a portal, and that can heal your Earth. So we're always looking for ways of healing the planet. Of course, we have our own lives. Of course, there's only so much we can do for your world that has a lot of intentions added onto it. But we also ones that are here to bring beauty into society, not just of the ocean of nature, but also the beauty itself. For souls to find themselves, beauty within. It's not easy to find beauty within. That's why some mermaids don't. They're mermaid, but they're not exactly the most beautiful, at least in a human form. But they are beautiful. They just look, something like a creature being. But they're still beautiful. There's still female, male energy there. It's just they're just a different type of beauty, basically. A lot of them do feel like they're more powerful here in that form. They just connect better with the earth. So it just says some mermaids adapted more to the human element. So some of your mermaids that don't look human are memories of your Lemurian times. And you're more of your humanoid mermaids are more of your Atlantean. Meaning the ones that just pretty much look like you. Like Ariel in your mermaid, little mermaid. I mean, she has Lemurian energy, but it is very much a Atlantis product, you can say, as you would say, or a creation. We have very powerful telepathic frequencies. We can connect to pretty much anyone on the world. It's just people aren't used to connecting to us. We do connect to children because many of them used to be us. So it's sending them vibrations, sending jokes, and well, these vibrations, of course, your children are also very connected to the trees, and much of the nature energies talks to your children all the time. So even grass talks to people. Of course, you don't hear about that very often. It's a grounding frequency, but for our energy connecting to your world is basically to connect you to the universe, the elemental realms, the Garthian realms, to allow those doorways to finally open. And for those that are ready to connect to our frequencies, to know more about yourself, obviously it's not always perfect. We are going through a lot of challenges ourselves. So I think you connect to Agartha and feel like all the problems are over. Well, it's a more knowing energy. You know more what's going on. And that's what you're doing now. You're becoming more known of what's happening here. Just you have to trust your instincts of what you feel like is happening on the planet itself. But truly trust it. Many are not really ready for that. They have third dimensional lives to go and they have things to do and things to figure out about themselves. Connecting to this world spiritually is not the easiest, but your spiritual connection goes to your crown chakra, actually goes to your heart chakra also. It's just basically knowing the spirit realm that's around you. It's just knowing what Lemurian energies are around you, what Atlantean energies are around you, just allowing that door within yourself to open up. It's for those that are ready for it. Many are going through a great deal of trauma, especially the childhood trauma they're still healing from. But basically connecting to your astral realms in your daily life and eventually become more easy. It's not always necessary, but for some of you, you can easily turn it on. Of course, obviously, men are going through a lot of soul healing. Well, there's a lot of cataclysms in the Earth's history, so some are still healing from that, especially when you lose a family during a cataclysm, and there are many in your past. Yeah, so realize many don't trust channeling, but they don't even trust themselves. So, like the right energy is trying to come through, but many humans don't want to hear it. So it gets closed down. It's like the spirit world is trying to give you whatever it can for you to survive, but not everybody wants that. Some people do, but many don't. They want to continue this. It's like, oh, that's not real. That's not going to go anywhere. And they continue this physical path, which is fine, but they're not always ready to open up the other passages that they can open within themselves. There's not always time for it. It's like, you can open up more dimensions within yourself, but not everybody's ready for it. So you close that chest down or the attic or whatever it is. But there is a secret realm within yourself, basically connected to Atlantean, Lemurian vibrations, the galactic people, the angelics that not everybody trusts. It's not for everyone. Well, there's a lot of galactic wars here, so it's hard to trust everything. But some have to trust themselves. They want to trust other alien beings, but they got to trust them first. And they're having difficulty with that. They're getting there, but there's still a lot of trauma. It's really linking to the traumas of why things aren't opening up for oneself. And that's not easy. Doesn't mean you're not ready to see it, but it's just some traumas are, you might be ready, but there's a part of you that might not be ready. It can be a little bit much. You ask for what needs to be released, what traumas that you're unaware of. So you're ready, whatever it takes. Most likely you'll have some kind of process there, some kind of opening, because for many it's closed. It's like they're open up their spiritual abilities, but not really ready to see the trauma within themselves. because they wonder why they can't open themselves up. It's like, I'm spiritual, but I can't activate myself. Well, what is there? And then they feel like they've healed it when really they really haven't. They're not always ready to see the darkness within themselves either. Many are in denial it's even there. Of course, we have friends and families like, wow, you're really dark. But they're not ready to accept that side of themselves. There's a lot of denial here, as you can see. So, that's just...